After 4 long years, Shah Rukh Khan is finally back on the big screen. With 2022 not being the best year for Bollywood, with the South Indian movies running circles around it in terms of box office, expectations are high for Pathaan to deliver that one big blockbuster. So, can the Badshah of Bollywood find his groove back and help the Hindi film industry get back on its track? Let's find out. Pathaan delivers exactly what it promises, which is a full paisa vasool action blockbuster. One of the biggest strengths of this movie is the writing. I was expecting the usual generic fare, but the dialogues in particular are really well written. A lot of Siti Bajao dialogues and a lot of fan service, but done right, and the cast deliver them all in the right pitch. I'll get to Shah Rukh in a minute, but the next surprising element was John Abraham, who is an absolute menace on screen. He's cunning, ruthless, cold, calculating, and has a great backstory to boot. Dimple Kapadia serves as an effective narrator. She's the anchor for the movie and has quite a few memorable scenes. Coming to the story itself, the narrative is technically non-linear, but might as well be linear. There's a flashback, and in that, there's another few flashbacks. You know how these things go. There's a massive threat, and our team of insanely good-looking spies have to figure out how to stop it while battling some evil people with red detonators and missiles. It's nothing you haven't seen before, but it works because of the stylized treatment and the stellar cast. Shah Rukh and Deepika have a blast together. They both look sensational on screen and they have great chemistry. The story moves quick enough to keep you from second guessing any logical leaps. You don't have to keep your brain at home for this one, but maybe let it chill out and not stress the small stuff. You'll have more fun that way. The action deserves special mention, as it should in an action movie. The hand-to-hand combat is really well done. Shah Rukh in particular has some great sequences and fights like a dream. I wanted more of these hand-to-hand combat scenes over the bigger action set pieces that we get later on. Deepika gets her own share of action scenes, and she looks like a badass executing her stunts and firing massive machine guns. She's no damsel in distress and absolutely packs a punch. I do wish her character had a little more time dedicated to her. I felt there was some depth that could have been addressed. As it is, she looks great and she kicks ass. The character doesn't really have an emotional graph to help you connect. That brings us to King Khan. He moves, acts, and kicks effortlessly. The charm, the timing, the smile, the wry sarcasm, that comedic touch, they're all intact and he's firing on all cylinders here. In his last few movies, I always felt like Shah Rukh was a bit stiff, but here that's not the case. Right from the first few dialogues, you just know he's back in full form, and it's an absolute treat to watch him. There's a word being thrown around review circles recently about how Bollywood lacks conviction. This movie though is full of it. Shah Rukh leads from the front. He really buys into his role and delivers even the corniest of dialogue with the utmost sincerity, and it works. That's when you realize why he's still a massive superstar. It's the charm. That same charm that read that empty notebook in the airport in Kal Ho Na Ho so many years ago and made it seem like the biggest, most romantic love letter in the world. It was an airport then, it's an airbase now. It worked then and it works now. The man just has a way of making you root for him. Even in the most unlikely scenarios, you just believe whatever he's selling. Tonally, the movie is a bit inconsistent. The twists and turns are not entirely convincing, and even though the hero and villain themselves get ample amount of depth, the overarching plot can't help but get extremely generic. Thankfully, the fast-paced narrative and the amazing cast keep it from ever really bugging you. But even the cast can't help with some of the VFX. The action set pieces are not particularly unique either. The chopper scene is a highlight, while the ice sequence is quite hard to look at. I personally didn't mind it too much, but your mileage may vary. The music in this movie is fine. It's okay. The songs are also fine. There's exactly 2 of them. Nothing to write home about really. There's no gunguru, there's no swag se swagat, there's no mashallah. The sound design though is really well done, especially in the action scenes. They really make you feel like you're a part of what's going on. Pathaan is not a path-breaking movie, but it's a great fun watch. John and Deepika bring in their own flavor, and especially John will leave you wanting for more of Jim and his cool one-liners. But let's face it, you're here for Shah Rukh, and I think I can safely say that the king is back after a long hiatus. If you've grown up in the early 2000s and been an SRK fan like me, seeing him fight and move like a true action hero is like a dream come true. The fact that it's in a movie that's also pretty good is a big bonus. The cameo in the middle is amazing, and the energy in the theater during those scenes is something you need to witness for yourself. The movie is quite self-aware, and that's a great thing. It's also patriotic without resorting to chest-beating jingoism, which is quite rare these days. The dialogues are good, the story is fine, the cast is great, the action is great. Hopefully the few kings I've mentioned can be ironed out in the next few outings, and with Lokesh's universe coming up, India can finally have its own massive action franchises. That's the review, guys. Hope you liked it. Leave a comment below. Have a great day.